Alright, look y'all, I make my videos to share my joy of gaming with you.
Wait, get him. Hit me with the shield.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
No hesitation at all.
And I don't like dipping my toes into drama and clickbait, but when the fleet's morale gets sufficiently low and Arrowhead seems to be chasing the wrong priorities, it becomes my obligation, both as a Helldiver and your commissar, to step in. My name is Unkasar Kai, and today we're going to talk about why people are sore about the latest patch, where the developers' priorities are versus where they should be, and most importantly, what exactly this game needs to reach its fullest potential. Starting off, I want to be clear. I love this game, and I know that it has an incredible well of untapped potential. This is not going to be a doom and gloom video. Lord knows y'all see plenty of those on a daily basis, and I don't feel the need to add to it. Instead, I want to have an honest conversation about why we're frustrated with the direction the game is going, and the changes that need to happen for Helldivers 2 to break out of its rut. To put it into words that I know Helldivers will be able to understand, we've been being served cake, when what we really need is a hearty bowl of, oh god damn it, soup. Okay, Arrowhead, now you've pissed me off. You got me yearning for soup. I hate soup so much that I have a t-shirt telling the world how much I hate it. Anyway, what I mean by this is for the past year or so, Arrowhead has been feeding us shiny new content. A fancy march on Cyberstan with new enemies and new biomes. Shockingly frequent Warbonds that have been, if we're being honest, pretty damn good. 2 new sub-factions for the Illuminate and even more biomes, mission types, and balance changes. All of these things are cake. They taste sweet in the moment, but they lack nourishment. They do nothing to keep Helldivers engaged with the game for more than a couple of weeks or a month or two at most. We all hop on to try the fancy new thing and chase the novelty, and we might even genuinely enjoy it. Most of this new mech Warbond is really powerful, and the mechs are actually pretty sturdy now. And if you say otherwise, that just tells me you only read the patch notes and never actually frickin' tried them. Hell, I got hit directly in the face with a Strider rocket and my mech never even started smoking. I played 3 missions against the new Gloom Bugs and I only lost 1 mech, and it was because I waded into combat to be silly with the shield bash. Most of these changes are fun and extremely cool. The new biome is gorgeous.
Y'all, this biome is really pretty. Y'all, I like this tree. This tree in particular. It makes me happy. It looks like the trees I'd climb on as a kid.
The new gear is fun to use and effective. The new Gloom Bugs are engaging and interesting to fight. And most of the balance changes are welcome additions that we've been asking for forever. Except for you, Hive Guard. You're gonna get your turn with my belt, just you wait. But even with all of these positives, this patch will get old in about 3 weeks. The novelty will run out and we'll return to the same old game of biding our time in hopes that the next patch might be the one where we can finally feel satisfied. It's cake. Tasty and sweet in the moment, but leaves you hungry and unfulfilled as soon as you're done. Arrowhead is like a stressed out parent trying to appease a crying toddler, and I don't say that to insult y'all. They give us cake and the player count spikes up. People are happy for a few days, weeks, or maybe a month, but then their tummies start rumbling because their real needs aren't being met, and the cycle repeats itself. Players have long-standing issues that have either never been addressed, or the solutions have been kind of on the inadequate side. For example, weapon balance has been a major point of contention for as long as this game has been out. Hell, these are probably the complaints you're most familiar with, and there are some examples of weapons and stratagems that have been neglected for seemingly no reason. Stary is a good example. This was the first stratagem in a Warbond that we ever got, and it has been pretty terrible for a year and a half. This latest change tried to shock her back to life after her tragic mishap, but ended up, well, unsatisfactory. Undocumented changes have eroded player trust by making us all wonder what really got changed in the latest update, and some of the communication from Arrowhead that we do get is just wildly unhelpful. For example, I saw so many people get confused about the latest change to the bot's tanks. It says right here, bottom part, but many people thought the tanks now had no weak points for medium pin weapons, even though this doesn't affect their turret. And they thought this because unless you read that one line, it's not exactly clear what got changed on this enemy. Same goes for the durable damage increase a lot of enemies just received. I'm still seeing people freak out over this change because they think that the increase in durable damage means an increase in damage overall, which is not how durable damage works. It doesn't add damage, it makes it better against certain hard targets. The buffs the mechs received far outstrips the increase in damage that our enemies got. Don't believe me? Here's the shield mech taking a direct hit from the freaking Bastion tank. I still don't like this change, and I think it's bad because it hurts sentries and emplacements for basically no reason. But let's complain about things that actually do exist rather than making up issues to be mad about. And if you want to blame Arrowhead for all this, blame them for not explaining it well and not considering the full impacts of these changes before implementing them. Mechs still need some help, and I would have preferred if they just reverted the durable changes entirely. At least this is half a step in the right direction. And then there's the dreaded Hive Guard. I told you your turn would come. Come here. And I'm bringing up this asshole because another issue is some of the frankly baffling changes that Arrowhead seems to make at random. Now, trust me, I love my M90A. I know how to deal with Hive Guard. They are, frankly, still not an enemy that I care about in the slightest. They are a blob of stats that is both non-threatening and the slowest enemy in the entire freaking game. They die to pretty much any incidental fire and are now even weaker to flame and gas effects because their health pool is now smaller than a loyalist. But none of this alters the fact that this change makes a lot of weapons feel much worse for very little gain. Now y'all are going to need to let me play devil's advocate for a second because I think I know what Arrowhead was trying to do. And clearly this change was my fault.
Players showed satisfaction with the new Hive Guard weak points, so we replaced the armor on the head and front legs with the same rating the heavy Devastator shield is made of, and made them spawn on every mission against every faction.
I have been mocking these useless sacks of pre-oil for almost a year in pretty much every video that I make.
Hey guys, look, it's a Hive Guard.
And clearly, Arrowhead noticed and figured that this seal waiting to be clubbed needed to be changed to be more engaging. I'm pretty sure they thought that slapping heavy armor on their stupid face would make them act as more of a wall between us and our oil quotas. But they failed to realize that walls are not particularly interesting to interact with, especially when the entire rest of the faction does not utilize those walls. They just stand there, looking stupid. But the point is, why make this change now? Maybe there is a way to make this enemy more interesting, but this change does absolutely nothing one way or the other to keep players engaged and wanting to log on day after day. And to add salt in the wound, it just pissed a bunch of people off. This change was so random, so controversial, and so unnecessary that Arrowhead is already reverting it next week. But looky here, Arrowhead, if you want to make this enemy more engaging, it needs to actually live up to its name and guard something. Maybe you could just take them off other bug seeds and slap them on bile spear seeds. They have something that benefits from being protected, but don't just randomly change the stats and hope for the best. And then there's the whole mechs in the Warbond thing. This change frustrated players because mechs have always, up until this point, been rewards for the Galactic War. And it very nearly closes the door on the idea of mechs one day being modular, so we can customize them. Both of these examples are things that players either really enjoyed or were really looking forward to. So the whole situation just left a lot of people with a bitter feeling. But here's the thing, y'all. Everything I just went over is cake. None of these issues, if fixed, would do much to bring players back in droves. Weapon balance might feel important, but when there's no reason to log on and actually use the damn weapon, it becomes substantially less so. Let me ask y'all the same question I asked my stream the other day, and let me know your answer in the comments. Would you care at all about mechs being in the Warbond if the Galactic War had substantial rewards and an engaging player-driven narrative? I'm willing to bet most of y'all wouldn't give a Hive Guard's backside about this change if you felt motivated and rewarded for engaging with the Galactic War. And this is where we have to talk about, damn it, soup. The only time I will ever deign to partake in this water disguised as food is when I am sick. When I have the sniffles or my gut is acting up, all I want is my wife's rice porridge. And this is the issue with Helldivers. It's sick, and instead of being nursed back to health with nutritious and satisfying soup, Arrowhead is desperately shoving cake down its throat, trying to keep it alive while they secure more cake, and not the kind on the back of the redacted regiment's armor.
Let's use the crossbow, Kai.
Okay. No.
Where's my coin?
So what goes in a Helldiver soup? Well, I'll tell you. The first is finally fixing the annoying multi-year long bugs and keeping the game stable for everyone. That would be the first step. If your game is crashing all the time or you can't vault over a goddamn knee-high fence, then why should you care at all about the new and shiny toys. You can't enjoy the game when the game doesn't work reliably, and running into technical problems or bugs that feel unfair is just going to put you in a bad mood and color your opinion of everything else. It's poison to the game and is a big reason why a lot of Helldivers have hung up their capes. This is why I have a big issue with Hellpod steering. I do not know why Arrowhead doesn't fix this. Is having players land in unfair spots so that they can't leave without dying to fall damage really so important to the game's balance that we just have to deal with not being able to control our characters? It comes across as stupidity from Arrowhead, and dealing with stupid people is always really annoying. Just look at some of my comments. Now, I really don't think Arrowhead is actually stupid. I just think their priorities are wrong, because fixing experiences that yoink you right out of your immersion should be at or near the top of your priority list. They're chasing cake when we really need that soup. The grind in this game has also gotten completely and utterly out of hand. Let's just set aside the whole super credits thing for now, and let's just look at medals. To unlock everything in the last 5 Warbonds out of 22 of them, that's going to set you back 3,935 medals. There are currently 22 premium Warbonds, not counting Helldivers Mobilize, and 2 of those are legendary Warbonds, which are more expensive and do not include super credits. If you want to unlock everything and you're not me or another propaganda commander, you're going to need to grind out 16,377 medals. This is insane. A big part of this problem is that loadout diversity and crafted new loadouts is the current lifeblood of the game. It's what keeps it interesting. So for example, if you want to create a setup around stun and flame weapons, well, you better be ready to shell out a bunch of super credits and medals, because you're going to need 6 different Warbonds for that, which comes to a total of 6,000 super credits and 4,723 medals. I don't blame people for not wanting to grind this much. Sure, you can do it, but it's clearly not worth it to a lot of players. This right here is what happens when you neglect your soup and keep shoving cake into your stupid face. You end up paying for it later. And this could be fixed in a lot of different ways, from discounts to expanding Helldivers Mobilized to Galactic War rewards. Speaking of the Galactic War, this is a big one. The broth of the soup, if you will. We could live with crashes, bad weapon balance, baffling changes, etc. back in the early days of Helldivers, because we, collectively, felt like we could influence the Galactic War, and we were rewarded for doing it. In the first year of this game, we unlocked mechs, the orbital napalm barrage, and a bunch of mines, and all of these were tied to engaging plot points that did not feel forced. Oh, you want mechs? Better go liberate Tien Quan, Helldiver. Now look here, Helldiver, now you have to decide between saving the children and picking up a shiny new mine stratagem. What are you gonna do? It worked because we had a carrot to dangle in front of players to get them to care. Now we just don't. Like, what did we earn from our efforts on Cyberstain? That was a hard-fought battle where in the final moments we gave everything up to save a group of Seath that had been encircled. And what was our reward? A text box saying, "Good job." No one wants to fight for a text box, but Helldivers would fight for an adorable little kid drawing us a picture out of gratitude for our efforts, or Seath Chan handing over her helmet as thanks for our sacrifice. These could be mementos that we would carry with pride through the rest of our careers. And if we were also rewarded with, say, a free Warbond token, then that whole campaign would have meant something. Meaning breeds camaraderie and forms memories that will last a lifetime. For liberty's sake, we made the news in Shanghai with our cooperative efforts with the Chinese to save Super Earth. There were stakes and rewards, even if those rewards weren't something we could carry with us. If we want a healthy soup to nourish the soul of the Democratic, the Galactic War needs some major revisions. I really don't mean to sound like I have an ego in this, but it is absurd that I command by far the largest independent group of Helldivers in the world, and I cannot use them to take a planet without the assistance of a major order. That's 46,000 people unable to make any difference. If I could do this, sure, it'd stroke my ego and I'd brag about it all the time, but it would also give Joel and the rest of the Galactic War team something to push and pull off of. It would give all of us a reason to look at the Galactic War map and feel like we're making meaningful decisions. So my suggestion for this one is to make planets that have low enemy resistance much easier to take and be taken in return. And while you're at it, add minor orders or strategic opportunities opportunities for the other fronts that are not part of the major order, so everyone feels like they're actually doing something. Arrowhead, let us, the community and the people that love your game, have a seat at the galactic war table. Give us more chances to shape the galaxy how we see fit so you can start playing the game with us rather than being an antagonistic DM. You have been blessed with an incredibly passionate fan base that loves your game to frankly absurd degrees and wants it to succeed. We are all on the same team and we want the same things, but you need to start paying attention to what actually matters and rise above the noise. Sure, people will complain that the M90A, my favorite gun in the game, isn't very good right now and needs a buff. And those people are 100% correct. But these things are not what the soul of Helldivers needs right now. We need nourishment. We need our soup. Please, stop feeding us cake. We're gonna get diabetes. And with that, I would dearly like to extend a hand, both to Arrowhead and the community. To Arrowhead, please make better use of your propaganda commander program. There are some decisions y'all can make about what we could do for the community, and all you have to do is make them. Y'all have listened to my feedback even when I didn't really want you to, and I really do see you trying. Me and a ton of other fantastic creators want to do more for Helldivers, but sometimes we're hamstrung by factors that are in your control. Y'all know how to reach me, so don't be a stranger. Together, we can turn Helldivers from a disposable product that people consume every 6 weeks into a hobby that will last a lifetime. And to the community, look, I love y'all, but let's take stock of what's really important. The tribalism needs to end, and we should narrow our focus on what we ask for. I want you all to ask yourself a very simple question. What would make you want to play Helldivers multiple times per week? If you give it a moment and think about it, I think you'll find that most of us are on the same page. And I really doubt the answer is going to be more Warbonds or weapon balance. I'd be willing to bet you just want a reason to care. Now, if y'all will excuse me, I'm gonna go sit on a beach and drink free alcohol with my beautiful wife on our honeymoon, until I forget that any of this ever happened. Until next time, this is Commissar Kai. Buy my merch.
So after I eat my jibber jumbers and drink my heater and
Spend time with
my hot Asian wife, I'm gonna squash you like the bug you are.